Hello, Army. Welcome back to K Heart Channel. The cameras were still rolling after BTS finished celebrating their huge AMA's victory, but suddenly, the mood in the room completely changed. Kim Taehyung looked around at the members, then quietly started talking about ARMY. At first, everyone thought it would just be a normal thank you message, but the moment Taehyung said this award should actually belong to ARMY, because the fans voted until the very last second, his voice started sounding emotional. The room instantly fell silent. You could see the other BTS members slowly turning toward Taehyung, listening carefully as he tried to hold back his feelings. And then, Jungkook noticed it too. Without saying anything, Jungkook quietly reached over and placed his hand on Taehyung's shoulder, a small gesture that made millions of fans emotional within seconds. What happened next during that live made ARMY completely lose control online, and many fans are saying this was one of the most heartfelt BTS moments ever caught on camera. The celebration after the AMAs was supposed to be a happy moment. BTS were sitting together in a quiet room, surrounded by balloons, drinks, and a cake placed carefully in the center of the table. The members looked tired but relieved after everything they had been through. Fans watching the live expected laughter, jokes, and chaotic moments like always. At first, that was exactly what happened. The members were talking casually, smiling at each other, and thanking fans for supporting them once again. But then the atmosphere slowly began to change the moment Kim Taehyung looked toward the award sitting in front of them. For a few seconds, he stayed quiet. The other members noticed it immediately. Kim Taehyung was usually playful during lives, always trying to make the atmosphere lighter, but this time his expression looked different. It felt like there was something heavy sitting in his heart that he had been holding back all night. Then he finally spoke. Kim Taehyung softly said that the award did not really feel like it belonged only to BTS. He explained that ARMY were the ones who stayed awake voting until the very last second, constantly supporting them no matter how exhausted everyone was. He even said that maybe the word ARMY should have been written on the award itself instead of just BTS. The room instantly became quiet. No one interrupted him. The members who had been casually sitting moments earlier slowly turned their attention toward Kim Taehyung. You could see it in their faces that his words hit them emotionally too. Because deep down, they all knew how much the fans had sacrificed for them throughout the years. Kim Taehyung tried to smile while talking, but his voice started becoming softer and shakier. It felt less like an idol giving a speech and more like someone sincerely speaking from the deepest part of his heart. Fans watching the live immediately noticed the change in his expression. And then Jungkook looked directly at him. Jungkook had been listening quietly the entire time, but the moment he realized how emotional Kim Taehyung was becoming, his expression changed completely. Without saying a single word, he slowly reached his hand over and gently held Kim Taehyung's shoulder beside him. It was such a small action, but somehow, that silent gesture said more than words ever could. Kim Taehyung briefly looked at Jungkook after feeling the touch, almost as if the gesture grounded him emotionally in that moment. The other members continued watching silently, their eyes focused on Kim Taehyung while the room stayed unusually calm. Even through a screen, fans could feel the emotion filling the entire atmosphere. For many ARMY watching live, it did not feel like celebrities celebrating another award anymore. It felt like 7 people honestly opening their hearts after years of pressure, expectations, and endless support from millions of fans around the world. As the live continued, fans online started posting clips of the exact moment Jungkook touched Kim Taehyung's shoulder. Within minutes, people everywhere were talking about how protective and comforting the gesture felt. Others said they could not stop crying after hearing Kim Taehyung's words about ARMY deserving the award too. But what made the moment unforgettable was not only the emotional speech itself. It was the silence afterward. The silence between the members. The way everyone looked at Kim Taehyung. The way Jungkook instinctively reached for him, without hesitation. And in that quiet room after the AMAs, millions of fans realized once again why moments like this make BTS impossible to forget. The celebration room was filled with soft laughter at first. Glasses were scattered across the table, balloons rested near the floor, and the bright lights above BTS reflected against the glass walls behind them. It looked like the perfect ending to a successful night after the AMAs. Fans watching the live were happy just seeing all 7 members together again, sitting closely beside each other like they always did after an important moment. Everyone expected the live to stay cheerful. The members joked around quietly, exchanged smiles, and talked about the award they had just received. Even though they looked exhausted from schedules, there was still warmth in the atmosphere. It felt safe, comfortable, like BTS finally had a chance to breathe for a moment after carrying so much pressure for so long. But then something changed. Kim Taehyung suddenly became quieter than before. At first, it was difficult to notice because the other members were still casually talking. But fans watching closely could see Kim Taehyung staring toward the award sitting on the table in front of them. His expression slowly shifted, almost as if he was thinking about something much deeper than the celebration itself. For a few seconds, he did not say anything at all. The room naturally grew quieter around him. And then Kim Taehyung finally spoke in a soft voice that immediately made fans focus on every single word. He said that although BTS received the award, it honestly felt like ARMY deserved it too. He explained that fans stayed awake voting until the very last moment, constantly supporting BTS with everything they had. As he continued talking, his voice became gentler, slower, more emotional. He quietly said that maybe the name written on the award should not only be BTS. Maybe it should say ARMY too. The moment those words left his mouth, the entire atmosphere changed completely. No one interrupted him, not even for a second. The members who had been casually sitting around the table slowly turned their eyes toward Kim Taehyung. One by one, their expressions became serious as they listened carefully. It was no longer a normal live broadcast anymore. Fans could immediately feel that this moment was becoming deeply personal for all of them. Kim Namjoon stared quietly from across the room. Park Jimin stopped moving completely. Kim Seokjin looked toward Kim Taehyung with a soft expression. Min Yoongi remained silent, listening closely. Young Hoseok lowered his eyes for a moment, as if reflecting on everything they had gone through together. And then there was Jungkook. At first, Jungkook simply listened beside him without saying anything. But the longer Kim Taehyung spoke, the more obvious his emotions became. Fans noticed the slight shakiness in his voice, the way he tried to smile through it, the way he paused between sentences, as if he was trying not to let his feelings fully show. It felt painfully sincere. Kim Taehyung was not speaking like a global superstar in that moment. He sounded like someone genuinely overwhelmed by gratitude. Someone thinking about years of love, sacrifice, pressure, waiting, and loyalty from millions of people around the world. And Jungkook noticed all of it immediately. Without speaking, he slowly moved closer and gently placed his hand on Kim Taehyung's shoulder. The gesture lasted only seconds. But fans everywhere completely lost control after seeing it, because it looked instinctive, natural. Like Jungkook did not even need to think before comforting him. The room stayed quiet afterward, making the small gesture feel even more emotional. Kim Taehyung briefly glanced toward Jungkook after feeling the touch. His expression changed for a split second, almost like he was trying harder not to become emotional in front of everyone. The other members continued watching silently. No jokes. No interruptions. No chaos. Only silence and understanding between 7 people who had spent years carrying dreams together. Fans online immediately started sharing clips from the live. Within minutes, social media exploded with reactions. People were replaying the exact moment Kim Taehyung talked about ARMY deserving the award and the second Jungkook reached for his shoulder. Some fans said they started crying the moment the room fell silent. Others said the atmosphere felt so raw and genuine that it almost felt wrong to look away. But the part that truly shattered fans emotionally came afterward. Because after everything Kim Taehyung said, the members remained quiet for several seconds longer than usual. Nobody rushed to change the topic. Nobody tried to lighten the mood immediately. It was as if every member was remembering the same thing at once. The years of pressure. The endless expectations. The nights filled with exhaustion. And the fans who stayed beside them through all of it. Even through a screen, viewers could feel that this was not just another celebrity thank you speech. It was something much deeper. Something honest. And as the live slowly continued, many fans realized why the moment felt impossible to forget. It was not because of the award itself. It was not because BTS won another major achievement. It was because for a brief moment after the AMAs, the cameras captured 7 people lowering their walls completely. And right in the center of that silence was Kim Taehyung trying to thank ARMY from the bottom of his heart, while Jungkook quietly reminded him that he did not have to carry those emotions alone. The live broadcast continued long after the celebration should have ended. Most award nights usually finished with smiles, photos, and short thank you speeches before everyone disappeared backstage. But this time felt strangely different from the beginning. There was a quiet heaviness sitting underneath the celebration, almost invisible unless you paid close attention to the members' expressions. BTS had just finished one of the biggest nights of their careers again. The room around them looked beautiful, soft lights hanging from above, decorations covering the walls, a blue cake placed carefully in the middle of the glass table with congratulatory words written across it. Everything about the scene looked like happiness. Yet somehow, the deeper the live went, the more emotional the atmosphere became. Fans watching around the world could already tell the members were unusually calm that night. There was less chaotic energy than usual, less teasing, less loud laughter. Instead, the members seemed reflective, almost like they were quietly thinking about everything that led them to this moment. Kim Taehyung sat near the center of the group, occasionally smiling while listening to the others speak. But every few moments, his eyes drifted back toward the award on the table. No one knew what he was thinking. Then suddenly, after a short silence, Kim Taehyung spoke softly. At first, his words sounded simple. He started thanking ARMY for supporting BTS once again during voting season. Fans expected a normal message because BTS had thanked ARMY thousands of times before. But this time felt different immediately. Kim Taehyung's voice carried a kind of emotion that was impossible to ignore. There was no performance in it. No idle image. Just sincerity. He admitted that he had almost forgotten something important earlier in the excitement of the night. Then, he quietly explained that this particular award existed because of the fans. Because ARMY continued voting until the final seconds without giving up. As he continued talking, the room became quieter and quieter. Even the members stopped moving. Kim Taehyung looked down briefly before saying something that instantly shattered fans emotionally. He said that maybe the award should actually have ARMY written on it too. Because in his heart, the award belonged to them just as much as it belonged to BTS. For a moment, nobody reacted verbally. But the silence inside the room said everything. The camera captured the members slowly turning their eyes toward Kim Taehyung one by one. Their expressions completely changed. What started as a relaxed celebration suddenly became deeply emotional without warning. Kim Namjoon leaned back quietly, watching him carefully. Park Jimin looked frozen, listening closely to every word. Min Yoongi lowered his eyes slightly, as if reflecting on the years behind them. Kim Seokjin stayed unusually silent. Jung Hoseok's expression softened immediately. And Jungkook never stopped looking at Kim Taehyung. The longer Kim Taehyung spoke, the more obvious it became that he was trying hard to stay composed. His voice occasionally trembled slightly between sentences. He kept attempting small smiles, but fans could see the emotion building behind his eyes. It felt raw, almost too real. Millions of people watching the live suddenly felt like they were witnessing something private rather than public. It no longer felt like celebrities talking to fans through a screen. It felt like 7 exhausted people honestly speaking from the heart after years of carrying expectations larger than themselves. Then something happened that fans would replay thousands of times afterward. Without interrupting Kim Taehyung, Jungkook slowly reached over and gently placed his hand on Kim Taehyung's shoulder. It was incredibly small, quiet, almost easy to miss. But somehow, it changed everything. Because Jungkook did not say anything at all. He simply stayed beside him, holding his shoulder carefully as Kim Taehyung continued speaking. And that silent support made the atmosphere even more emotional. Kim Taehyung briefly paused after feeling the touch. For 1 second, his expression completely changed. Fans noticed him glance slightly toward Jungkook before looking forward again, almost as if he suddenly felt overwhelmed by the comfort itself. The silence afterward became unbearable for many fans watching live. Nobody joked. Nobody changed the topic. Nobody tried to force the mood lighter. And that was what made the moment unforgettable. Because BTS understood him immediately, without needing explanations. Fans online started posting emotional reactions within minutes. Clips spread everywhere across social media as people tried to describe why the moment hurt so much emotionally. Many fans said the atmosphere felt heavier than any acceptance speech BTS had ever given publicly. Others admitted they started crying the moment Jungkook instinctively reached for Kim Taehyung's shoulder. But what truly made the entire moment stay in people's hearts was what happened near the end of the live. After talking about ARMY, Kim Taehyung became quiet again. He looked around